Farming Unlimited, New Farming Horizons and Technology. To lead the discussion, can we have Mr. Roshan Kynadi on stage, please? An agripreneur who's in the process of putting in place an unconventional model of farming in his farm, Kynadi Plantations. He ropes in multiple revenue streams that complement each other, like livestock farming, farm tourism, and adventure tourism. He's also the CEO and co-founder of Super App, a mobile app which was recently launched in the App Store and Play Store globally, which acts as a one single app for all your needs, brings together combining business card payments, group chat, dating, jobs, matrimony, social media, search, you name it, the app has it. Mr. Roshan Kynadi, welcome to the discussion. And with your permission, I invite our panelists to the floor. Ms. Riya Premchand, Cherrie Agro Farms. She is a 23-year-old MBA graduate at the helm of Cherrie Agro Farms and Conoor, a thriving family-owned agri-business that specializes in the cultivation of exotic fruits, particularly diverse avocado varieties. The very enterprising Ms. Riya, welcome. Mr. Jacob Chalissery, can we have the pleasure of having you on stage, sir? A veteran with 3 decades of exposure to the industry, a trailblazer in diversified fruit cultivation, someone who fervently advocates sustainable practices in organic farming, and must particularly mention the 600-ton annual rambutan production, which has positioned him as a leading rambutan farmer in South India. Good day to you, sir, and welcome. And can we have Ms. Devika Chandrasekharan to join the assembly of guests here on stage, co-founder of Fuselage Innovations. Fuselage has undertaken innovative drone farming methodologies that boost crop yield by 35% and reduces resource utilization by 70%. She's also the Chief Operating Officer of Speranza Plastic Crafts, which contributes to renewable solutions through plastic recycling. So without much further ado, Mr. Roshan Kynadi, I leave it to you.
Few years back, Government of India designated MS Swaminathan Foundation to devise a strategy to attract youth into agriculture. In fact, it was a study to decide how to attract youth into agriculture into the country. And the report, the final report said that if youth has to get attracted to agriculture, agriculture has to become intellectually stimulating and financially rewarding. And again, that is the issue that we are facing in agriculture as a nation today. This panel develops into two areas. One is innovation and one is technology. We have two specialists in innovation, Jacob and Riya. And in technology, we have Devika with us. So I'll start off with Jacob, who's the most senior. See, most of us so-called farmers or agripreneurs, whatever we call, we all inherited land from our parents. And all the farmers that I know have seen that only, including me. But here is one person who had zero inheritance of agricultural land, but today owns about 450 acres of land, not because he had nothing else to do in life. He was very successful. He, from a premier institute, he passed out in aviation engineering. After that, started his own company, became very successful in a very short time, but discarded all that and got into agriculture. Not a small time thing. Once you listen to him, you will understand. And so, Jacob, I want to know about what prompted you when every day you read in papers of suicides and because of agriculture and all that. You are one person, in spite of having a luxurious, successful career and life, you decided to get into agriculture. So, what is the reason for that migration?
Friends, Roshan, this is a wonderful opportunity that is given to me to share to present to you uh, the reason why I got into agriculture. So TIE gave me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much. So the thing is that this is the only vertical in the whole world that can give you resources free of cost. Water, air, sunlight, it's all free to you. So there is no other business that you can ever get into where you get free resources. So that's one of the major reasons. The other reason is that this is the only business that you can continue until you die. Now you can keep on earning your daily needs without much of effort all through your life until you die. The other thing is that every time you are with your plants, they give you such a satisfaction, they give you such a companionship, they give you silent companionship. And there is also the question of satisfactory returns that you can get from agriculture. If you are able to produce or market fresh produce or any other thing in agriculture at a reasonable selling price, you can definitely make a living and make a good living out of that. So those are the reasons what prompted me to get into agriculture.
Thank you, Jacob. Next question is to our young, beautiful Riya. And your family had been in agriculture for the last 30 plus years. And in fact, one of our own committee member, Jojo, was talking very highly about the kind of things that you do in your farm. And I'm sure it is only because of innovation that your family had been successful over the years in agriculture. So speak about those innovations.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Riya Premchand. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. So 30 years back, my family was into tea nursery and tea plantation. And then we saw that there is not a bright future ahead. And that's when we decided to shift crops, and we diversified into exotic fruits and vegetables, growing of seeds, capsicum seeds and everything. And in the last 15 years, our recent achievement has been on avocados. So 15 years back, we started with regular seedling saplings of avocados. And when we saw the growth and the potential it had, that's when we started learning more about it. We did a lot of R&D. And in the last 7 years, we're growing a lot of imported varieties of avocados. So diversification of crop has been a big factor that has helped us grow over the years.
Thank you, Riya. Next is Devika. Devika, in fact, I personally have got a lot of pride when I see Devika sitting here, because she came out of our Capital Cafe, and in Thai Kerala I had Capital Cafe, and she was part of 2020 Capital Cafe team, now become very successful. She and her brother started a company called Fuselage Innovations in 2020, and today they are supplying drones to not just Kerala or India. Recently they've sent a major consignment to Germany, even other parts of the world. In fact, Devan, her brother, was supposed to attend this session, but today he had to go for a visa appointment. He had to go. So they are opening up a new company in Canada For that purpose, he is not here. So in place, Devika is here. So speak about the technology. Please speak about the technologies that you have developed for the farming community of the world.
Actually, in 2018, Kerala faced tremendous flood. So in that flood, farmers having problems with their crop, they are facing crop damage and issues in plant treatment methods. So we are basically from a farming family, background family, and me and my brother decided to study about it. From that study, we developed Fuselage innovation. We found Fuselage innovation in 2020, July, almost in the mid of COVID, and we developed two products, basically two drones. One is Nidish UAV and another is FIA UAV. Using Nidish drone, we analyze the whole farmland using this drone, and automatically these two drones are interconnected. Using one, automatically this data will transfer to the another drone. So farmers need not to apply the foliar application to the whole area. So it helped them to identify the issues, better yield prediction. They used to know about the nutrient deficiency, pest attacks in the farmland model. So we developed some precision farming protocols with the help of Agriculture University. We started with Kerala Agriculture University. Now we signed MOU with TNAU, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. So we took each crop and study about them and develop a standard procedures or protocols with each crops. So this helped the farmers most because they're also facing labor shortage also. We can cover an acre with 8 minutes. Basically, if a farmer needs to appoint a person to cover 4 to 5 workers in a day. So we approximately with a drone we can cover almost 70 acres a day. So we could create an impact between the farmers for last 3 years.
Thank you, thank you. Very interesting. There is a joke which goes around in the farming community which says, farmer is one person who buys everything on retail price and sells everything on wholesale price. But Jacob is one person who produces 600 tons of fruits and sells it at retail price. It is something which popped up in my mind. In fact, this question was not planned originally. So give an answer to that, Jacob.
When you look at the Dutch model, right? What does the Dutch do? They are basically aggregators. They have the Boers from South Africa, the Kenyans, the the Zambians, the Zimbabweans, the Botswanians and Nigerians, everybody exporting their produce into Netherlands, and Netherlands become the largest exporter of produce from their country. So basically they are not the largest producers, but they are the largest exporters. Similarly, what we see now is that, we ourselves, if we become the aggregator, like we aggregate our produce from our own property, we can do the same thing as the Dutch are doing. They sell to, they qualify the produce, they pack the produce, and they sell to various customers, not probably at the consumer rate, but fairly close to the consumer rate. So that's our model. So we actually aggregate ourselves. We don't sell produce which are not qualified. So that's a basic model of ours.
Thank you. I think you are supplying to almost all the major cities, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Bombay, right?
Yeah, we try to do that because, see, the Bangalore has become a hub of what do you call, transfers, like you can transfer any commodity coming from any part of the country or even the world from Bangalore into other parts of the country or the world.
Thank you, Jacob. Okay, next question is to Riya. You mentioned that you have recently developed some new clones which are high yielding and more remunerative to the farmer. Please speak about that.
So for the last 7 years, we've been growing good varieties of grafted avocado imported plants. 2 years back, we imported through some nice licensed nursery, we imported some avocado clonal plants. And we saw a significant difference between a seedling avocado plant and a clonal avocado plant. So generally people either grow avocado from a seed, that's called a seedling tree, or they graft on a good variety and that's a grafted plant. And clonal is one step ahead. It helps with a lot of things like phytophthora and uniformity with the orchard. So we're happy to announce that we are the pioneers in successfully producing avocado clonal plants in India. So yeah, this is one step ahead which will help the farmers get higher yielding in their crops.
Thank you. Thank you, Riya. So, Devika, you spoke about the technologies that you have developed. Now tell us about the impact that you were able to make so far in the farming sector.
Okay, initially our big task was how to convince the farmers about the technology because they are not aware about these technologies. So we took one farmer and we had some dead lands in our area. So with the help of government, we took the land and took some farmers also, and we started to cultivate the paddy in their field with these drones. So from that model, farmers identify that they got 70% reduction of agricultural inputs because we designed nozzles and these drones for the particular crops, and 30% yield increase. So for last 3 years, we could create an impact between almost 8,400 farmers all over India. And we helped them to reduction their input into 70% and increase their output to 30%. And almost we encourage them to zero pesticide applications to their field. And last month we got an approval from DGCA types. So from we can sell the. As of now, we only provide the service model. Now we can sell the drones also all over India. So that's a big achievement for us. Actually, we are Kerala's first company that got UAV DGC approval. So we can create more impact through other crops also, because now we are focused on tea, paddy, vegetables also, and we love to develop protocols for other crops all over India and world.
I think recently you got some recognition on NASCOM.
Yes.
Please speak about that.
Okay, that's Emerge 50 startups in India. So that's a big thing for us because they selected 50 emerging startups all over India. So we got selected as one of the startups.
Okay. Next, Jacob, I think 1 month back when I called you, you were in Africa. And once you came back, you told me that you were exploring possibilities in other places outside India. And having known you for the last so many years, I've always looked at you as a technology expert. And in the last few days, you have sent me so many emails on emerging technologies in agriculture. So speak about your explorations abroad and the technologies also you are passionately following, please.
So again, Government of India wants food security for our citizens, right? So Government of India, I think, is pushing for people going, or companies, Indian companies going abroad and trying to produce food and you know, agricultural raw materials for our nation from in countries like African countries like, say, Zambia or Zimbabwe or Tanzania or Nigeria or Ghana, wherever it may be. So I was also thinking, why not I also take a walk and see whether we can produce fruits in those countries. So what I found was that there are companies in Africa owned by European companies who are producing fruits and fresh produce. There are companies, individual companies, having a revenue of $1 billion a year. And some of the things I learned was that, say, for instance, in India, if you want to cultivate land, you have to either go purchase the land, or you have to go beg the landowner for taking a lease on the land. And most of the federal laws that we have are not enforceable in the court of law. So it becomes very difficult for us to play in the fields. Whereas in some of the African countries, there are laws which prevent anybody from owning a land. They can take land on lease from the government, which is pretty enforceable in the court of law in their country, individual countries. So it is easier for a individual or a company to go over there and produce for the entire world. And cost of transport, you know, there are certain landlocked countries where cost of air transport is cheaper than transporting goods by road, like, say, from Lusaka to, say, UAE, they charge about 80 cents to a kilogram, and your produce is in UAE in about 4 hours' time. So you can have fresh produce grown in an African country and supply, say, Bangalore in about, say, 12 hours' time. So these are things that are possible. So I mean, these are exploration and results of explorations that I have done. And technology adoption is a double-edged sword. You know, you have to have technologies that are appropriate. Like a friend of mine who works for Bosch in Bangalore, he owns 100 acres of land where he produces pigeon pea. So he used to have about 50 people working for him. Now what he did was, he had bullock carts instead of tractors. So he uses bullocks as the motive force, and bullocks only produce methane. That is the only harmful gas that is produced by the bullock. And what he does is he energizes the prime mover that he uses for spraying and other purposes by electrical motive force. So he has got almost zero pollution, or he's a green producer. And it's the cheapest mode of production, but whereas he is now employing 3 people for the entire field. And these are appropriate technologies for our country, where your capital is reduced, capital employed is reduced. You are in the green area. You are actually producing at a low cost, selling at a high price, because you are not using any of the harmful chemicals that are employed in many of these areas. So what I would say is that we should think of technology, but think of technology in such a way that it is appropriate. Like, for instance, Divya has a technology. Now, a competing technology is helium air balloon. You know, you can have helium air balloon on top of your property, you know, a homestead. And you can monitor the entire homestead with a single helium air balloon with an attached digital camera, which probably somebody is going to throw away. So these are things that people should innovate and think. If you are looking at homestead, you should think of those kind of activities. Thank you.
Interesting, Jacob. Okay. Next question is to Riya. You were speaking about imported crops. Speak about the potential of growing these imported crops in our country.
So India imports tons and tons of various perishables on everyday basis, when we have the potential to grow the same in our own country. For example, even avocados, we import around 5,000 metric tons annually. That's a huge quantity. So while we have the potential to grow it in our country, in the last 3 days, I've been traveling around Kerala and seeing a lot of farms. And I see a lot of potential for growing crops like asparagus, avocados in certain regions, mangosteens, rambutans. Also, I think one place where our country lacks is people grow the crops, but they don't sometimes grow the right variety. So I think that is something that is very important. Like walnuts, we do have the growing of walnuts in the northern part of India, but they don't grow the right variety that the market needs. So India is still forced to import the right variety to meet the demand. So, and I come from Nilgiris, so we are naturally blessed with the weather, soil, everything. So in Nilgiris, we have the potential of growing strawberries round the year, while Mahabaleshwar can do it only during the winter season. So identifying the potential of your region, knowing what crops can be grown, growing the right varieties, this will help our country in a big way, economically, and even we'll give a lot of employment opportunities.
Thank you, Riya. Okay, next question is to Devika. What are your future plans for helping farmers? Any new technologies or models that you are trying to create?
Okay, with these technologies, we help the farmers to farmers in a we got a profit of 20 million, almost 20 million by using our technology, because in the form of 70% reduction of agricultural input and 30% increase of their output. And now we are using a system like we convert them as an agripreneurs. Like we provide them drones and we help them to avail loans with Government of India. There are 2 schemes, Agri Infra Fund and SMARM scheme. Under these schemes, they got drones with subsidy. So we help them to avail the loans, and we help them to train them for their paddy and any fields. And using these drones, they could avail the service for other farmers also. So suppose a farmer spend 3 lakh rupees for a drone, so he get that money back within 6 months. So he can use these drones as a passive income. Like we help them to convert as a farmer to agri entrepreneurs. So that system is we are working on. And in terms of technology, we develop protocols in all the crops in India for now. And this year we are looking for international expansions. Canada, we already started the incorporation. And in UK, we selected as Global Entrepreneurship Program. So we need to start a facility there. Now we are starting discussion with Harper Adams University. It's an agriculture university in UK. So we need to research their crops in their field. As you said, in Germany also we started the procedures. In Middle East and Australia. In Australia, we discussed with Swinburne University that to develop graphene for our drones. So we can now we are the most time flying drone. It's 25 minutes in a battery. So with graphene, we hope we can increase up to more than 25 minutes. So we had a discussion with Swinburne University in Australia to adapt their technologies to us. So that discussion is going on. So hopefully we can do that in future.
Thank you. Very interesting. Okay. Since we have some more time, one more question to Jacob. In fact, most of Jacob's properties are outside Kerala, but recently, I think 2 or 3 years back, he purchased 2 properties in Kozhikode district. So what is the message that you have to the youth of Kerala who are aspiring to get into agriculture? I'm sure you have seen both outside Kerala and inside Kerala. So some thoughts.
I think, Roshan, there is no difference between inside and outside Kerala. So, Roshan, I want to correct. I've been in Calicut area cultivating for the past 15 years, not 2 or 3 years. So, managing agricultural operation in Kerala is far, far, far easier than in probably any other state, because we are much more intelligent people, more resourceful. If you tell a guy in Kerala that you need a rock that is obstructing a pathway, he would break the rock and pave the pathway with the same rock. So he actually innovates for you. The only problem with us is that we are control freaks. You know, our management wants to control everything. They don't use the intellect or the resource that is available to them, the human resource available to them, in the appropriate way, wherein which you don't let the person take his own decision and try to innovate. So that's our biggest drawback. So the what do you call, the smallest diameter of a bottle is at the top. So what we should do is we should cut the top and let the bottle be open. That's what I would say. So it's much more easier for you to work in a state like Kerala.
Thank you. That is quite encouraging. Okay. Riya, again, one last question for you, since you have time. Question is this: you connect very well with the youngsters, aspiring youngsters of Kerala. So, anything that you would like to tell them? You are also a management expert.
So from my childhood, every time there was a holiday from school or the weekends, I've always gone to farm with my family. Over time, I grew very passionate about agriculture, and I think agriculture is something that a lot of people should get into, the youth should get into. It's a very peaceful sector. Your life is very peaceful. You live a healthy lifestyle. And it's very interesting too. Working with nature is very, very interesting and challenging too. So you get to learn a lot of new things. So I think people should have at least, even when they're working with IT or something, they should have something to do with agriculture.
Thank you, Riya. So thank you very much, Jacob. Thank you very much, Riya, Devika. Again, I'm very happy to see Devika here once again because she is from Capital Cafe. So let us wind up the